Cool.
All right, we're live.
That's all I do.
Okay, actually, what is today's date? Today is January 7th. This is our 50th episode of Talkin Yanks, and we got a special guest joining us to celebrate the occasion. Let's talk Yanks. This is where we do our music. All right, what's up, everyone? You got me, Jomboy, coming to you from California. We got my co-host and everyday regular co-host, Jake, coming from Denver. And we got special guest today, JoezMcfLy, super fan
What's up?
of the Yankees.
What's up?
We have an actual New Yorker on the podcast. That's good.
Yeah, 3 different time zones in here.
3 different time zones, yeah. How you doing, man?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Just cold. It's cold as hell. I know I can't really complain because this, this guy's in cold area, so I can't really complain with that. But I got a space heater right here next to me. It's crazy.
It's a brisk 60 degrees in California right now.
Oh man,
tough.
Feel bad for
All right,
you,
so
man.
if you don't know who Joe is, you kind of shot up on Twitter, same timeline as me. We've kind of like been growing together, which is fun because last year was so much fun. And the most famous is the Devers reaction, Chapman blown save, devastating night, but blessing in disguise for you because that was pretty big time. Sports Center,
It
FS1.
was. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was crazy. My phone was blowing up like never before. My battery was just running out, and I'm just like, this is not a good thing that happened in the moment. And then after that, it's like, okay, well, you know what? Fine, I'll fall on the sword so that the Yankee season could turn around. So that's how I started to feel.
Yeah, there you go. I'd take one devastating loss for the rest of the season we had. Plus, you got to meet Devers. You got your own special on FS1.
Yeah, that was pretty real. That was surreal, actually. That was really crazy. I couldn't even imagine that. Cameras following you around and stuff. That's pretty crazy.
Me and Jimmy take turns kind of being PC in different ways. Jimmy's the family man. I don't know. I go off the deep end sometimes. Like, do you get love in the streets? Like, I mean, the first thing that hopped in my mind, like, I don't know, you're out, like some girl's like, hey, are you that guy? And you are that guy.
Yeah, like at the stadium or by the bars, like people be like, "Hey, are you the Devers reaction guy? Are you that bro? I'm on your YouTube channel and all of that stuff." And it's like, yeah, man, I love what you do. Keep going. And, it's pretty cool when people recognize you and then they say what's up or they want to take a picture or whatever it is. That's I think the craziest thing to me. Like, you get to the stadium and it's like, I don't know, I'm just there to have fun, man. I'm just like a regular fan. That's how I look at it. But everybody's like, "Oh, you that guy, right?" Like, all right, well, we'll see.
Is that what it is?
What happened?
Is it the Devers guy? Like, are you the Devers home run guy or Chapman blown save guy? What's the most commonly used term? If they don't know your actual Twitter handle, they just recognize the face.
No, now they actually say, "Are you that Yankee reaction guy?" Because I had other ones that went viral too, like during the playoffs, which is big. And oh man, you were at the games and blah blah blah, and yeah, you had the Chapman game, whatever it is. But it kind of morphed into that a little bit. So then that was pretty cool, getting out of that bad light because people thought I was a jinx, and I'm like, what are you talking about? I was doing this all year, bro. What are you saying?
The jinx people are terrible. If Gary Sanchez, I'm like, ooh, Gary looks good today. I think he might hit a home run. They're like, don't jinx it, bro. I'm not. I'm talking about it. I'm just talking about it.
That doesn't even make any sense sometimes with the jinx, but I mean, whatever. Oh, I don't know if you guys know, today's supposed to be National Bobblehead Day. So we got this guy. Yeah, supposedly. I got this guy here, right? Got Gary Sanchez. Nice. And then this guy, which I'm sure a lot of people love.
Wow.
Yes.
How much did that cost? $300?
Waive the no trade, bro. Waive the no trade.
For people just listening, the second one was Jacoby Ellsbury.
Yeah.
Best fourth outfielder in the game.
Most expensive bobblehead you can buy, and the head barely even jiggles.
It really doesn't. It really doesn't.
So, are you a season ticket holder?
Yes. I'm a season ticket holder. I don't go to every single game, but me and my friend, we split up our tickets, and then we go to as many games as we can. So
That's awesome. And you're always in right field seats, right? Right field box seats.
Yeah, always section 105. Section 105.
That when I was a little kid, that was my absolute favorite section, and I would be like 8, 9 years old. My dad would always buy that section, and I'd sit there and just watch the bleacher creatures.
Mhm.
I was fascinated with them. They like guys getting kicked out and then sneaking back in. I just watched the chants, the like heckling, the ripping apart Red Sox fans. I'd go to games as a little kid. You know, little kids don't really watch every pitch, and I just watched the bleacher creatures. This is my favorite section.
Yeah.
It still is.
Yeah, those guys are crazy. You know what's funny? Before, for a long time, they didn't even allow like beer or anything like that in those sections, and they're still rowdy. So it was like these guys are crazy on another level. But I mean, the guards kind of toned it down a little bit now, so it's kind of
I mean, they're no longer singing "Why Are You Gay."
No, they don't say that stuff anymore.
That was a staple.
Yeah, they don't even say. You know what? They don't even really say like box seats suck. You know, at the end of like the the roll, they say box seats suck. They don't even say that anymore.
Oh, they're getting super soft.
Soft.
Yeah, it's crazy. They don't. Pretty crazy.
No, my favorite part, because I was in the Bleacher Creatures, the game I went to last year. My favorite part is like the Bleacher Creatures aren't the absolute crazies, like the people that show up for a day. There's people in there that know each other, and like there's this lady like knitting, but she knew everything about the Yankees. She was barely watching the game, like, but she could just tell by the reactions. She's like, "Oh, is that a Gardner double?" It's like, what? What are you doing here? But that's the Yankees. That's just like part of their Sunday.
Well, I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
The Bleacher Creatures had all the characters.
I mean, yeah. I mean, when you go there, when you have a package, you kind of know who's there all the time, like who's got a season ticket, because everybody recognizes you, like people they know, my kids and stuff like that kind of are in that section. They say what's up to them, so that's pretty cool. That's I kind of like that about season tickets. So.
And then, like, say the guy next to you sells his tickets to a terrible couple. Next game, you're like, "Hey, do not sell to those guys again."
Yeah, we had those.
The worst that thing that can ever happen when you go to a baseball game is if you sit next to a couple on a first date when the guy is trying to act like he knows everything and explain it to his girlfriend or said date. I get so furious when that happens to me. I went to a A's Yankee game because I'm out here. And I had this guy explaining every player to his girlfriend, and he said, "And this is our right fielder, Bobby Abreu." And I was like, "You son of a bitch. You don't know anything." So I'm going to be like, "This guy is telling you nonsense. This is a bad date. You should leave." I didn't. But that's the worst.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool. Like, I don't have a problem talking to anybody about baseball. Like, you know, we could all talk or whatever, but as soon as you open your mouth, if you don't know what you're talking about, it's like, all right, that's it, man. Come on, let's tone it down a bit. Let's just watch the game, because if you start talking to me about like, oh, Gardner should play shortstop, or Twitter's kind of like that too. Twitter's insane, and well, we know how that is. So,
oh yeah,
it's just like, bro, let's just tone it down.
I love, like, everyone hates bandwagon fans. I'm like, yo, the Yankees are about to be fun. So I told my little brother and all his friends, like, get on it. This is about to be fun. I don't care if you just join now, but don't be a fan. Don't be paying attention for your first time and start talking, like, ask questions. Be like, hey, what's going on here? You know what I mean? Because I don't mind bandwagon fans. I mind people that act like they know more than they do.
The teams that don't have bandwagon fans are the teams that don't have anything going on. So just remember that. So
yeah,
that's it's fine. You want to have that. I think you want to have that, but just exactly don't try to act like it's you know everything from top to bottom. You know, everybody at some point was at the beginning of their fandom. So
if I go to a Knicks game, I'm not telling anyone anything. I'm asking questions.
After we say that, what a better time for us to give our insight.
Yeah. Hey, well, I mean, I'm not an expert. I'm a fan who has a lot of opinions, and that's
exactly.
Absolutely.
All right, so that's for everyone that didn't know of Joe. Joe's a reaction guy. Got the YouTube channel. We'll shout out everything at the end. I know you guys see the hat too. I love those. But let's go into some questions. We had a good amount. You know, people were excited to talk to you, having you on. And every day, this is like the third week in a row with no moves, slow movement. So like, I don't want to talk Garrett Cole. I don't want to talk the things we've been hammering. So some people send some good, different questions. I have some. We get people that call in and leave voicemail, so I love showing those guys love.
Okay.
Because they're part of the show. If you call up and leave a voicemail, you're part of the show. So this one's very simple, but I'll play the audio.
Either Yankees or not Yankees, who was your favorite player growing up?
All right, easy as that. Favorite player. You want to go first, Joe?
He said Yankees or not Yankees?
Yeah. I mean, I would guess all our favorite players are Yankees, unless you got a relative in the league. But
well, all right. So my favorite players as a Yankee, of course, core four. I don't want to disrespect them. Bernie Williams, definitely one of my favorite players. Absolutely. I guess Robbie Cano, A-Rod when he came over and all of that stuff. But I guess if I had to name one player that wasn't on the Yankees, that was my favorite, it was probably Ken Griffey Jr. I just didn't see anybody dominate a game. Barry Bonds, but for 10 straight years, it was like Ken Griffey Jr. and all of these things and his swing and all of that. So I used to love the kid, except when he used to kill the Yankees. Guy used to destroy them like he was Manny Ramirez. So, but yeah.
Jake's is Bernie, right? Easy.
Yeah, I kind of gave that away in the past and today wearing my Bernie jersey. Just so like suave on the baseball field. But I before we get to you, Jimmy, because I kind of know your answers for both of these. Well, not really, but Joe, like I guess the question that was going through my head when I read this, because favorite player is favorite player, but like when you're a little kid, you're growing up and you're on the Yankee field. Like in my head, I was center field for the Yankees. Like I was just, when Bernie retired, I was just going to pick it up and go from there. Things didn't work out. It's okay. But where were you on the Yankee diamond? Were you the shortstop? Were you the ace on the hill? What were you?
Mariano Rivera was, to me, it. Like, he was it to me. Like, I felt like he was, you hear Enter Sandman, I feel like there was nothing more intimidating in the stadium than Mariano Rivera jogging in, the last person to wear number 42. It's surreal. It still gives me chills just seeing those things, and everybody in the crowd going nuts. It's game over. The other team knows it's game over, and Mo was it. It's like, I'm closing the game. I'm here, and it's just regular business. Let me just shake your hand, and it's over. And it's and we're done in about 7-8 pitches. So, so it's like, it's not like, Betances, like an adventure sometimes, or Chapman sometimes. And it was just absolute business. And you just have to respect that. That was great.
Yep. My favorite is like Derek Jeter. And I know that's the cookie cutter. I mean, everyone's going to have that answer, but everyone has that answer for a reason. I was 7 years old in '96. And I think, so like, as my Little League career started playing Little League, my dad's coaching, everything is like, watch Jeter, do this like Jeter. I think, like, I tapped the plate just like Jeter, brought my bat up just like Jeter. And then the way he handled the media, my dad's always like, do this. Jeter. It's easy. It's everyone's answer. It's a lot of people's answer.
Jim, I'm in the know a little bit, but you were an okay catcher for a little bit. You were a solid 15-year-old catcher. Was that where you were on the Yankee field, or in back of your head were you still playing shortstop?
Shortstop in my head, but I caught, like, in high school. I was good defensively. First time someone threw me a curveball, it's like, the fuck was that? That ball just moved. How am I supposed to hit that?
Technical foul.
All right, so we got Bobby from the Bronx. He's asking top 3 games been to live. I can't even do that. I don't go to enough games to have, and I've never been to a great game. I went when they clinched in 2011 against the Red Sox. Brian Bruni came in to pitch, and he got a standing ovation and cried on the mound. That was cool. And then I went to Game 5 against the Orioles in 2012. Which was fun. But I was
at that one too. With CeCe on the mound, right?
Yep. Yeah, that was a fun one. So, Joe, you go to a lot more games. What's your favorite game?
I hate having recency bias, right? But I mean, this playoff run was amazing. I didn't have enough. Like at the time, my funds weren't where they were supposed to be for 2009. I only went to like one game and we lost a Cliff Lee game. But I mean, Game 4 against the Astros this year has to be awesome, especially the fact that I only got in. Especially the fact that I only got in the building for $35, right?
Wow.
But coming back from 4-0, you know, against Ken 100 miles Giles, we're gonna hit it 9 miles. That guy, it was awesome when Gary hit that double or whatever it is. I don't even remember. That day is a blur. Then after that is the wild card game where everything felt like it was done, and Didi hit that 3-run home run. I don't think I remember hearing that stadium any louder. And the last one is way back. Yeah, chills, bro. And the last one was way back. And I went to this game. It was A-Rod's 3 home run, 10 RBI game against the Angels against his son, Bartolo Colon. That game was I never seen anybody do that in person ever. Like just dominate a game by himself like that. And it was crazy. I'm like, everybody in the stands is like, every time he'll come up, it's like everybody got up. He had a grand slam, 3-run homer. I think he had a 2-run homer. Everybody was waiting for like him to hit the cycle in home runs, but you know he got a single up the middle. But well, whatever. It was crazy that day. That day was crazy.
Jake, you got any games?
Man, I've joked previously that like, because I grew up in Connecticut, so like going to the stadium was a thing. It was like, all right, 2 hours to drive in, park, drive out. Like it turns into like a 10-hour day real quick. And we used to go to like the Sunday day game. So dude, I can't tell you, I must have saw Jorge Posada play first base at the stadium like more than anyone, because it was like starting to get to the later years of Jorge where they were like, okay, you know, he's got some years on his knees, maybe he could play some first. And then it was like, no, that's not happening. I don't know. I'd say my coolest one where I wasn't even at the stadium. I was in New York for David Cohn's no game, and I just remember the city itself was buzzing, and it was cool because it was pre-social media and like that stuff. But it was still like the city was more above or more abuzz than it would be with social media, because like it was just like you were in the city, you were watching the Yankees,
Natural.
and then like, you know, it's on the TV at the bar, it's on the TV there, and just like natural word of mouth in the city. Like I just remember it was crazy. I remember because usually someone mentions it around like the 5th, 6th inning. And like I remember it getting mentioned, and I forget if we were just walking around the city or what we were doing, but I remember by the 7th inning, like from the 5th to the 7th inning, like the city was watching. Awesome.
David Cohn just followed me on Twitter, so thanks.
Nice.
Thanks for letting me plug that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was. I think I remember that time too. And the thing is that everything was hearsay around that time too. So like, hey, you think David Cohn's, and everybody's kind of spreading that way, and there's no text messaging, right? So
yeah,
it's like
it's all whispers.
Yeah, it's all whispers, and I think that creates a crazy buzz. So
back then, if you were the guy that ran into the bar and were like, David Cohn's got a no going, you were so cool because you just broke the news to everyone. Now everyone just gets it on their own. I did that once. Jeter's last season, I was in the gift shop, the fan shop across from Gate 8, and it was announced that Nunez was starting and not Jeter. And everyone's going to see Jeter one last time before he retires. And I was in that Modell's or whatever that is, and I just announced, like, Jeter's not playing today to the whole store. And everyone was like, what? It was the bearer of bad news. It was a terrible thing. Everyone hated me. It's like, yeah, blame Girardi. All right. Also from Bobby from the Bronx, we got John Sterling home run calls for Stanton, Torres, and Andujar. We'll do this really quick. Jake, did you think of anything? Joe, I know you said it was hard. It's so hard. I thought of one for Torres that I said on the first Talkin Yanks ever, and I thought of one for Andujar as I read this. Do you have any, Jake?
Man, I think I feel bad because I know we haven't talked about these. I thought of one for Andujar like 5 minutes ago, and I think I have it.
I think I have it. Like, I think I know what he's going to say for Andujar.
You want to go first or me go first? Because I think if I go first and it's better, you're just going to copy it.
I think you guys have what I have, probably.
We all got the same one.
All right, should we all go on the count of 3?
I don't think that makes a good podcast. I'll go. I'm feeling it.
Go,
I'm the
Jake.
leadoff hitter. It is high. It is far. It is Andujar. Boom.
It's similar to mine, but mine's better because he doesn't do it that way. He's not gonna muddy up his actual call.
Okay.
Joe, what do you got?
I said Andujar hits one away afar.
That's what I have. Andujar. Oh, so far. Yeah.
We both danced around it. I won that round. Sure.
No, you lost that round, Jake. And for Glaber, I said this on the very first episode of Talkin Yanks. I think it was like, Glaber glues one to the grandstand. Because what do you do with Glaber?
I thought Glaber does the Yankees a favor or something like that.
Ooh, that's
not bad.
Sometimes
he's gonna have to do one of the super long ones for Glaber.
Glaber.
I mean, unless he gets a nickname or something. I don't know.
When you're the only man in the world named Glaber, I think you don't need a nickname.
Yeah. Hey, absolutely.
Yeah, and then I don't know, Stan. My one I had for Stan when we first talked about was Stanton to the Hamptons. I don't know, it like half rhymes, it half doesn't. Yeah.
Maybe it brings back the Giambino or like Giancarlo, whatever. I don't know. That's tough.
Giancarlo hits one to tomorrow.
Yeah, not bad.
I like that.
Stanton to Scranton.
Ooh, there you go. It's going back to AAA.
Maybe Stanton hitting them to Scranton.
Jake and I get into the habit. We fell into this terrible habit on here of calling Glaber Glibber, and we kind of are stuck in it. And we've had 2 requests, right? Can you stop calling him Glibber? Well, we'll try our hardest. Can't think. All right. Jacob Hertig asks who should start at third and second base to start the year. Jake and I have talked about this. What are your thoughts, Joe? Do you think they're going to get someone, or do you think it's Andujar, Torres, Wade?
I think they should try to work something out with Todd Frazier because it'll be great. And then you could have people like Wade or even – and I don't care what anybody says. I do not think that Glaber, not Glibber, right? Is not. I don't think he's starting out of the gate. I don't think he is starting for the Yankees because it just doesn't make any sense for them to do it. We all know why, because of its free agency and another year control. But I think somebody like Wade, give him a chance, give Torres a chance, give to all battle it out, or even Thairo Estrada. If you feel like he is that kind of guy, maybe see if he impresses you in spring training. I think those 3 guys should probably do it. But if you don't get anything if you don't sign Todd Frazier, then you're gonna have to just throw Andujar into the fire and see what happens. I mean, that's what's gonna happen because it's just what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I go back and forth. I think they have to sign someone. I don't think you can roll with 2 rookies at both those spots when you're trying to compete. It was like when Cashman talked about getting Sale last year, and he's like, we're not 1 step away from the World Series. Well, right now we're definitely knocking on the World Series, so I think you got to cover all your bases. I'm not saying I don't believe that any of those rookies can be good, but you can't solely rely on them. They signed Jace Peterson. If people want us to talk about that, it's not worth talking about to me. I mean, he's going to compete for the job and probably not get it.
Yeah, I think it was win-win with Jace Peterson because he's a guy, kind of a quadruple A player who right now the Yankees have somewhat positions open at second and third, which I think are his 2 strongest positions. So for him to sign a minor league contract, hey, yeah, if you want to fight for it, Jason, you show us something cool. If not, no skin off our back. So, yeah, why not?
And he's going to get the chance to play in spring training at second and third, which some other teams he might not even seen a lot of time.
Right.
So he gets to sell himself to other teams by playing in spring training for the Yankees. But I really don't see, like, Jace Peterson's been in the league for 2.5 years. You kind of know what you have. I don't see them going with him over any of our 4 rookies who they've, like, spent a lot of time on at all.
Absolutely. He's like another Pete Kozma signing, if you really want to think about it. People forget about Pete Kozma was even on the damn team. But yeah, he's like another Pete Kozma signing where it's like you put him in there I think he's just fighting for a bench spot. If anything, if you're gonna start Torres, you could probably throw him in the bench. Like if Torres wins that, but yeah, I agree with you. I don't think you can't go into the season with too many kids either. I don't think you need some vets, bro. You do. It's like they kind of keep things in line. That's why CC was so important to bring back. That big guy was so important to bring back. And yeah, I mean, they got to figure it out with Todd Frazier because he could also back up first base in a pinch or something like that if the kid's mature enough. So that's something.
All right. So speaking of Todd Frazier, we got a call. That's Todd Frazier Machado combination. Here it is.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Just calling in, big fan. Been listening to you guys all last season, especially during playoffs. Just wanted to talk about Frazier. I feel like from what I've seen on different news sites is that there's a probable deal, most likely. Just wanted to talk about that. He's a great ball player. I feel like he's going to be a great influence. I honestly prefer him over Machado because Machado will just be a big star. I feel like there'll be conflicts with Gary, and there's already a lot on Judge, Stanton, Gary, Didi. I feel like Frazier's a good seventh bat, solid home run hitter, solid base hitter, solid defense. Definitely pumps up the team starting the playoffs. I feel like he'll be great. Just wanted to see if you guys can talk about Frazier a little bit. I'm excited. Hopefully we get to see him again next season and, get that World Series.
All right. So thanks for the call. Now, I half agree with that and half don't, and I don't know why he's asking because I agree. I still really want Todd. I think it would be a dumb decision for Todd to sign a short contract with us, like a pillow contract for 1 year or year and an option. I think that's not in Todd Frazier's best interest, but I really want that to happen. This guy's saying Todd over Machado. If he means Todd over trading for Machado for 1 year, 100% agree. If he means Todd over Machado, like long haul, that's a little crazy. Yeah, absolutely. That's
on his best day. I mean, Machado's a wizard at third. He is. It's like it's him, Arenado defensively, him, Arenado, and I mean they amaze me on a daily basis. If of course I wouldn't want to trade for Machado right now. It just doesn't make any sense unless Cashman somehow, some way beats Peter Angelos over the head, and just kind of brings him in for nothing, and like he likes to do. But I'm not choosing Todd Frazier over Machado, and I get his point and what he's saying, but I think that having a superstar kind of guy there doesn't put it kind of takes more pressure off of everybody because now Giancarlo comes in, Stanton doesn't have to. Stanton. Giancarlo comes in, and I feel like it'll make Judge better because I think he was pressing also throughout that time when he was struggling. Mm-hmm. He kind of felt like he had to carry the team a little bit when everybody wasn't really pulling their weight, but everything is more distributed, throughout the team. So I don't think there's going to be any conflict if you bring more people like that. So
I think there's Jake go.
My big thing that's one thing I came into today, and a lot of things that we've been talking about is, I mean, Gleyber Torres is the number one prospect in baseball, and right now we're just talking. We're just talking about his position, like super casually. Like, oh well, maybe we'll throw him at second, maybe we'll throw him at third. I don't know. Like, I was kind of reading some scouting reports today. He's 6'1". They said he's adding some mass to his lower body. They said he's got the good hands, which you think translates to either second or third. They're saying his lower body, he'd more likely be able to handle third. If his bat's there, he's probably more valuable at second. But at the same time, you're talking about a rookie adjusting to a position, a guy who's played shortstop. So that's somewhere where I get hesitant about Todd Frazier now. Like, we know worst case scenario, Wade and Torres can pick a little bit at second base and do their thing. Gleyber, I don't know. Do they see him as our third baseman? Do they see him as a second baseman? I think that's something that's kind of been ignored this year. And if they do see him as a third baseman, he's clearly going to be a part of the team this year. Then do you bring in Todd Frazier? Never mind the Machado stuff. So, and the other thing that I think I need to mention it because I tagged Joe's in it yesterday, or maybe I didn't. Maybe it was another thread, but it was someone saying, they were saying, hey, would you do Machado for Gleyber straight up? And every post on the thread was like, LOL, no way. Why would you do that? And it's like, hey, Machado is kind of on an all-time pace. He's defensively and offensively. And, I mean, people are just ignoring the risk. Like, yes, scouting is advanced and things are at a great place. But, I mean, Gleyber Torres could be a 280, 15-homer, solid MLB player, and that is what it is. Like, Machado's a bona fide star. So I like the pressure off point. I also get scared of the super team because if Machado joins this team, I mean, the media is just going to be an absolute nightmare, more than they already are. So I don't know. I think those are a couple points that I've just come across the past 2 days. I'm still team. We're like you said, we're invested in a lot of these young guys. I would love to see a semi-versatile vet come in, whether it's a Brandon Phillips, someone like that. I know I hammered that name a little too hard for some people, but you need one more veteran stabilizing presence that if the young guys hit it and they're good, sweet. If not, you kind of have a insurance plan who's going to give you at least solid baseball.
All right. Well, first to touch on, I think Gleyber was going to come up as the third baseman last year if he didn't get hurt. Cashman already said that. So they trust him enough at third base. But his natural and his better position, everyone says, is second base. But that's a good thing that he's good at both. You said something else that I forget that I wanted to respond to, but I forget what you said.
Sure.
Machado for Gleyber is because it's 1 year of Machado, so no way in hell do you do that.
Right. I was saying if you factor in the extension, like if that would preface it. I would not trade for Machado at all if an extension's not agreed upon.
That's what someone said that we got a question, like how much would you be willing? Let me find it. It's from Ray. He says, lastly, I know this is sort of a roster thing, but what would you honestly be willing to give up for 1 year of Machado? I know the sound of Machado in this lineup is deadly, blah, blah, blah. What would you – I wouldn't give up anything unless an extension was guaranteed. If it's just straight up just 1 year of Machado, don't need him. Don't want him. We'll get him next year.
Yeah, I mean, for Machado, I mean, he's worth it. All right, let's not and of course the super team thing is, it kind of takes the fun allure from it, and puts all this pressure on them to win. But I mean, that's kind of like what we want, right? We want to win. But we have, I mean, for Machado, I'll be open to giving up a combination of players except for Florial. So if I'm not giving up Florial, if I'm not giving up Gleyber, and possibly Justice Sheffield, maybe because he's a lefty. But other than that, it's I'm open to it. If you want to take Andujar, you want to take Tyler Wade, you want to, we can work things out. Acevedo, you want to, things like that. But I'm not giving you my top two, for what? Like, look at what I gave up for Sonny Gray. And that, those guys, of course, they were hurt. It's high upside, and everybody thinks that. But everybody thinks that the Yankees for sure won that trade, but we don't know that. I mean, what if they all pan out to being what we thought that they would be with the Yankees? Yeah. Then you're just thinking like, oh man, wow, maybe. But you want a trade to kind of hurt. But for 1 year of him, I wouldn't give up those crown jewels. No way. Especially if you think that that you're going to get him as a free agent. Yeah,
agree. I mean, there's some because I'm not a prospect hugger. I don't love prospects. So if they traded away some of the second level, I'd be like, all right. It still seems risky to give up just for 1 year of him. I would just wait it out. I mean, it's not like without Machado we're upset with this team. Right now, the lineup we have without Machado, we're all ecstatic about. So it's not a need at all. I don't know.
The only thing I want to say about Machado that's kind of gotten overlooked too, kind of what I mentioned about Gleyber and kind of a reverse A-Rod. There's people he came up, he was supposed to be a shortstop, and he's still supposed to be a star shortstop. I'm wondering, with teams teams kind of pinching their pockets a little more in free agency, if Machado thinks and wants to be a team shortstop and do the things he's doing, I think a team will break the bank even more. If he can really be that special and do that. And I think that's something that really hasn't been mentioned yet. So I don't know. I think that could be something interesting to see.
Yep. he hold out for a shortstop. That's the opposite of what A-Rod did. For all the shit A-Rod gets for back in the day, we're being all about himself and all that. When he came to the AL East, he was going to go to Boston for a pay cut, and then he came to the Yankees and changed positions. I don't think he's the most selfless person ever, obviously, but those get overlooked. That was like he was like, hey, I just want to be on a winning team. Pretty selfless move, and no one really, he still gets a lot of shit. Some of it's deservedly so. All right. Next voicemail.
Hey guys, it's Aaron calling from Israel. First of all, I'd like to give a shout out to Jomboy's YouTube channel. I saw the hilarious. Yeah, I love it. Keeps me busy during this boring all season. I want to talk about in the scenarios with the DH. Well, obviously, opening day, Stanton will probably be DH with Judge in right, sixth center, and Gardner left. Well, obviously, when Judge needs a rest, they'll put him DH. Stanton will be in right field. Now, let's say Gary needs a rest and being captured, and they don't want to obviously take him out of the lineup, so they'll put him DH. Now, if they're putting him DH or Stephen will be with Bird or needs a rest, they'll keep him DH. So do you put Judge in the left field and put Stanton in the right, and then now center field? Do you move Gardner from left to center, or do you take Gardner out and keep Hicks in there? Going crazy from this, and all I have to say is good luck. And all right, guys, thanks. Love the podcast.
All right, could you guys hear that? That was Aaron from Israel, fan all the way in Israel. All right, so Aaron's asking about the outfield rotation, which is kind of wild. It's a pretty unique situation because. All right, and I'm going to play audio that I dug up just to clarify, because this is Boone talking about the outfield rotation, which I think sheds some light on how it's actually going to go.
We still plan on occasion using Gary Sanchez in the DH spot to give him kind of a quasi-day off to get him off his legs. But it's certainly something we'll rotate between Aaron, Giancarlo, tough lefty on the mound. Maybe you move one of them over to left field. Who makes this most? Not sure.
Okay. So the way Boone says that there is we're going to rotate Giancarlo, Gary, and Judge in the DH, and Giancarlo and Judge will split right field. Then he says maybe a tough lefty on the mound. One of them moves to left, which got to make you think Gardy's sitting, which then leads to Hicks as the everyday center fielder, no matter what, which leads to another question we got. What are we expecting out of Hicks? So I don't know, whatever, Joe, whatever you want to say about outfield rotation, Hicks, you take whatever you want.
Well, all right. So see, a big thing with the rotation that I was thinking about was Hicks is the wild card here, man. Because if he is playing like how, all right, you could kind of break up Hicks's season into different kind of things. Of course, there's injuries, but he was for a long time when he was playing really well. People were like, "Oh, this is the best outfield in baseball. Hicks has a crazy defender, and he can get on base, and he can be able to hit." And then when he fell off, people kind of poo-pooed that, right? Like they were just like, "Oh, nah, that's not what we're doing there." And then there's Ellsbury's hot now, and God knows what's happening with Ellsbury, right? So nobody really knows what's happening with this guy. So then we have with Judge. I think when he's talking about tough lefty, what team is the team that has the most lefties in the AL East? It's the Red Sox, which for some reason they loaded up on a bunch of lefties, knowing that righties usually in their ballpark play better. But it's Chris Sale, right? But if you're talking about left field in Fenway Park, is a lot easier than left field in Yankee Stadium, right? So I think you could transition Stanton eventually, maybe to left field, because I think that they have a lot of advertising invested into right field for Judge, right? We know what kind of advertising. So I think that maybe they'll transition him over to left field a little bit, because left field in Yankee Stadium is like right field at Fenway Park. It's no joke. And that's why, even though I hate Mookie Betts, you got to respect him. He does not let balls drop out there. And I think Gardy doesn't either in left field. But I think if it's Fenway Park and you're going against Chris Sale, you want to load up on righties, then put him in left field. Sure, why not? Get him to play against the monster.
Yeah, Jake, who do you lean in left field when Gardy sits? Which is how Boone arranged this in his words.
Right. My early thought was Judge, because I think Judge can cover a little more ground than Giancarlo. He's got those long strides. I like the marketing aspect of it. I didn't really think about that. The other thing to think of is Judge is younger than Giancarlo, and as of now, those we're going to trade Giancarlo after this year. He's a 1-year rental. Then we'll sign Machado. Maybe that's true. Not going to speculate on that at all. But here's the thing. I mean, Giancarlo is under this massive contract. And one of the things we have to consider is, he's had some injuries before. I think him being older, having some injuries, and already having that contract and going to be on our books for a long time, I think he's going to end up in the DH spot the most. But
I agree with that.
I think the left field thing's going to be interesting. You're going to see them tease with it a little bit early in the year. I think the other thing to look at is that it's going to be a growing process in the way of, I think they want to have it, it's not going to be our best defensive outfield. It is what it is. But you want to have it serviceable by the playoffs. Because the other thing to think is, what if we have to play 4 games at an NL stadium,
Yeah.
Then we lose the DH. And I know you can't spend the 180 games regular season and postseason just preparing for 4 base World Series games that you're hoping to get to. But it's a serious thing. I mean, if we were to get to the postseason and then it's only the 6th time we've gone with the Stanton Judge outfield and one of them makes an error, I mean, Booney would be destroyed. So you're going to see it a little bit. The thing I mentioned to you, Jim, and I'll touch on Hicks briefly. I think it is interesting. He's gone overlooked because when he's right, he's like a 5-tool player. He's got the arm, he's got the defense, he's got power, he's got on base. But you're right. If he slumps a little bit, Aaron Hicks doesn't have the name or the contract. That's a lot of guys in the outfield. So that'll be something to watch. You have to root for Hicksy and roll him out there because he did so good, and hopefully he earns it again. Bernie 2.0, how about that? But the other thing, and Jim, I'll tease you into this, and then you could circle around into the outfield. I mean, we had the first, and the media is going to snag it at some point, but these are 2 giants, and it got mentioned with Judge's knees last year. Do we see a first base demo at one point, whether it's Stanton or Judge or something like that? I don't know.
Yep, that's our next question. It's a voicemail, really quick voicemail. Just says, when or do you move Stanton to first base? And Joe, what do you think? You think one of these big guys becomes our backup first baseman and then maybe first baseman?
Maybe. I mean, I know people were talking about it last year with Judge. Oh, let's put him at first, or because we have the outfield and we got the first base problems. I just feel like I don't know why. I feel like it's wasted athleticism. Like these guys, they're big and they got these, they usually have knee problems, but they have cannons for arms, both of them. They really do. And that's an asset in the outfield. I mean, maybe Giancarlo, but first base is, a lot of people, I feel like they act like first base, you can just throw anybody there. That is, and I feel like Mark Teixeira really made me appreciate first base because he saved so many errors, especially toward the end of Jeter's career. He scooped up. He's a vacuum over there. That guy could still play first base right now. Can he be the backup first base? But seriously, I mean, you just think like that position saves so many errors from your infield and just, what you're doing. I don't know if you want to do that, especially Stanton. I think he had some leg problems too. So hamstrings and stretching at first base, Bird really takes that spot and doesn't have, he's nice and healthy. I'm really rooting for Bird this year. Like Bird, I'm really rooting for Bird this year.
Me too. And we got a question about Bird from Ray, our Yankees fan in Boston, Ray is. He says, in the ALCS, I saw that every time Bird went up to bat, the Astros played a strong left pull layout defensively. Do you think we will see a drop in his batting average because teams will likely catch on to this? Pull hitting is not new, but Bird's ability to go the other way is nearly non-existent. I know we didn't get a great sample of his capabilities after a 6 and 60 start, blah, blah, blah. But clearly he is a 100 hitter. So do you think Bird is a pull-only hitter? I was watching footage from his first couple games because I was digging up just old clips. And all the scouting reports then where he hits it all over the place. But we haven't seen that. We've seen – and are we upset if he doesn't try to hit it all over? Because the dude has a perfect swing for Yankee Stadium. What are your thoughts? Go right, Jake.
My bad. Yeah, man. Here's my I don't know if it's a sad boy theory or pessimist or whatever it is, but I keep saying it. It's broken record a little bit, but somebody's got to make the outs. And at a certain point, not saying your boy Greg Bird's making all of them. At the end of the year, Greg Bird's not going to be defined by his average. The first number people are going to mention with Greg Bird are his homers, and I think because it's solid OBP. He showed that in the playoffs, man. There were a couple of bats that I was like, man, if I was in Greg Bird's shoes, finally getting back, and I was in these playoff at bats, I'd be trying to be a Stanton and hit it to the Hamptons or something like that. But he showed he's got a good eye. We want him to be a lefty stabilizing bat. And yeah, I think the shift is what it is. Todd Frazier came over and was a 210 hitter when earlier in his career he was a 250, 270 type guy. But the shift goes into that, and then it turns into a whole mental thing, which hitting is either way. So I think you just tell him swing away at this point. Greg Bird's supposed to be a power bat. Don't worry about where the fielders are. See the ball, hit the ball. And yeah, I don't know, Jim. We kind of you're one of the celebs. I'm just the outside guy. We kind of missed you on first base, outfield, and now Greg Bird's up. Give the people what they want.
First base. I think Stan. If the opt out changes, say Stan didn't have that opt out and he was here for 10 years, like A-Rod, like Stan was here, I could see them dabbling like, hey, we want you at first. We eventually you're gonna have to platoon with Bird, be a little more versatile, DH and backup first baseman. I don't think there's a need for that like right now. I don't think it's urgent that I don't think in the next 2-3 years Judge or Stanton need to learn first to back up. I think that I'm a big proponent of don't ref Snyder people. Don't make them learn new positions while they're trying to be hitters. I think Stan I don't know who would go to left either. I mean, I just have no idea. Either of them, I think it is interesting. Aaron was like, so is Gardy going to sit and Hicks is the everyday center fielder? Because would you rather Gardy go take over Hicks in center for a little bit? But Hicks is a switch hitter. So being a switch hitter provides you so much depth and playing time in the MLB, even if you could be like Chase Headley, who was absolutely garbage from the left side last year, but he can do it, so he gets more starts. That's always weird to me. Like maybe Gardner lefty is better than Hicks righty.
I don't know. We'll see. I think Hicks, Ellsbury both have injury histories themselves. So I think at least earlier in the year, until things sort themselves out a little more, whether it's play or injury, I think Booney can play we want to keep guys rested throughout the season card pretty early without too much controversy.
Yeah. All right. The next thing we have is fun. It's Dan gave us 4 over-unders. All right. I have some stats if you guys want some references. The first one is it's incredibly easy. It's a bad job by Dan on the first one. The next 3 are good. The first one is over-under 10 starts for Chad Green. What do you got, Joe? Is Chad Green going to make 10 or more starts next year?
Over and under for what?
Chad Green, will he make more than 10 starts or less than 10 starts next season?
Under. I'm going under for that. That's
I would
sure.
Okay, I'll make that one more interesting. Over under 2 starts. I think that's a little more difficult. And me personally, hammering the under. Maybe he makes 1 start like he did last year.
I mean, geez, in a pinch, under. I just think Sessa is pegged for that role. Like that's his role right there. Like that extra starter that we have as a depth starter that we could just bring him in. Sessa. I'm thinking about who else would be down there that would be pegged. You might actually see Adams and then Justice Sheffield probably cameo this year later on.
Because they're not on the 40-man yet. So
right.
Sessa, it's going to be Sessa or Domingo Herman, and people are going to be. I keep telling this on the show. People are going to be pissed when it's not Chance Adams or Sheffield to make the first single game spot start because they're not on the 40-man.
Right.
Jake, what do you got? What do you got for Chad Green? Over under 2 starts.
And I think those guys will end up on the 40-man sooner or later too. But
I agree. Yeah.
that's hot take for me. No, I'll say under. I think if you're the Yankees, you're sell to Chad Green this year because we thought about it from the like a competitive athlete perspective, and that was, what if Chad Green in his head is saying, hey, yeah, I dominated out of the bullpen, but I'm also a great starter. Like in Chad Green's head, he could be a 33 starts, 2.5 ERA guy, but right now he's not getting that opportunity. I think if you're the Yankees, you come into this year and say, Chad, we love you. Throughout the year, maybe work on some other pitches a little bit.
I wouldn't, man.
But you have to think how you sell this to Chad Green. If he thinks he's a legitimate starter, which he has to, because that's how he climbed the ranks. You say, Chad, you were amazing in your role last year. We're trying to win the title. We want you in that role again this year. We know you have starter ambitions. We want to keep you stretched out just in case, et cetera, et cetera. If you want to work on building your repertoire a little bit, we think that would help you be more successful as a starter potentially next year. But I think this year you just kind of have to bury in his head, we love you and you're going to get your chance, but this year we need you as that rock in the bullpen.
They're going to Adam Warren him. That's what's going to happen. They're going to Adam Warren him. They're going to tell him every year, oh, yeah, come in as a starter. They were doing the same with Mitchell, which I think, not for nothing, but I think he's going to do really good in San Diego because he's going to get a chance to start. So you might see something out of him this year. And then, of course, you're going to hear every Yankee fan, why would you trade him? What are you, crazy? And blah, blah. Anyway, but you're going to have they're going to Adam Warren him because he was too good at what he did. He was too good. Yeah. Unless he ends up really showing that he has like a third finished pitch, like to really put them away. Like the Yankees were really adamant about Severino being a starter no matter what happened. It just like that same kind of conversation doesn't feel like it's there with Chad Green. I could be wrong, but it just doesn't feel that way.
Yeah, I think the way Chad Green plays out is, hey, go into spring training as a starter, work on your changeup, throw it a lot in spring training. And that's what they tell Chad. And what Brian tells the staff and crew is like, hey, we're going to have him start. We're going to have him start in spring training and keep him stretched out. Then he's going to go to his 2-inning, 3-inning role during the season. And I think that is the perfect plan. All right, next over under. Now, these ones are a little better, but 10 starts for Chad Green. Hammer the under, put my life savings on it. Okay, next one. 175 innings for Sonny Gray. Now, I'll give you some background. Last year, Sonny Gray threw 162. Year before that, 117, got injured. Last year, a little bit of injury. 2015, 208 innings. 2014, 219. Take also into account we have power bullpen, so we don't need him to go 8 innings every game. 175 innings for Sonny Gray. Joe, you want to go first? What do you think? Less, more?
I'm gonna go over on that because I think they're gonna speed up his delivery, and I think he's actually going to start pitching faster. That's what I think. I think he pitches too slow, and it ends up. I feel like it ends up eating time, and then that ends up eating innings, and then he ends up having like 150 pitches. What it feels like, and like 4, and it's like watching paint dry sometimes. But I think they're going to get him because I think MLB is supposed to be putting a pitch clock, right? Are they doing that? Did they approve that?
They tested it in the minors, and there was that game where I was watching because Justice Sheffield was pitching in whatever league that is, and it was garbage. Got called on Justice Sheffield twice. They had it at 13 seconds, and it didn't feel long, didn't feel bad. It wasn't Sonny Gray level at all. So that's a really tricky thing because if a ball changes a lot.
Yeah, so, absolutely. But I think he's going to pitch faster. Well, we're going to see him go over 175, I think.
All right. I love that they're going to try and make him pitch faster because it's like Jake and I always say, the fielder's probably just like, yo, Sonny, we are bored, man. It's fucking boring.
I'm going under. I think Sonny's going to have a great year. I think it's kind of funny where Yankee Nation is right now. I think they really underestimate what Sonny Gray is. Like they casually mention him as our 4th starter, a guy that's been an ace in the major leagues for a little bit now. I just think he does have a little injury history, and I think, like you mentioned, the bullpen will be a factor in that, where, previously he'd probably get an extra inning or two in Oakland. They don't need that right now. And I think ideally, in an ideal world, this season is aiming towards a playoff run, a World Series run. And I just think, hopefully in September, we don't have to be burning Sonny Gray for 8-inning starts, that it's, 5 innings, keep them fresh. They start doing kind of that 6-man we saw at the end of last year to keep everyone's arms fresh. So I'll say under on that. And maybe, again, if he gets nicked up at some point, hopefully this season isn't a season that you have to rush him back. It's like, okay, if you've got a 3-week injury, take 4, get healthy, and we'll see you. So under.
I agree 100% with you. What you just said, Jake. That was all my thoughts. Under.
Take that, Joe.
Just add Garrett Cole and it won't matter. Just add Garrett Cole, right? No, let me not even start that conversation.
Nope, no Garrett Cole talk on this week. Under, but not in a bad way. Under, still pitches majority of the season, does well, but for safety reasons and just under. All right, next one. 35 walks for Betances. Now, last year, Betances had 44 walks. 2016, 28. 2015, 40. 2014, 24. So that's a good number by Dan. 35. I'll go first this time. Hammer the over, because he's going to have a 2-week mental breakdown. And let's just schedule that. Schedule the Betances breakdown, and then hopefully everything else around that is the all-star we also know.
I mean, I hope he makes the change. I mean, because when Dellin is going, he is going. He is filthy. I mean, that guy, I just feel like I understand Larry hammers home with everybody. You pitch off your off speed first, but I feel like sometimes he falls in love with that curveball too much. He forgets he has that 99 in his pocket. But, maybe using it a little bit more, and then I have to go under with this, because if it's over, it's a problem.
Yeah.
I have to go under with this. I have to. I really do.
Another good point for the under is we have 5 guys out of the bullpen. So, Dellin, if you don't have it, you're not going to see a lot of important shit. It's not like last year when it was Clippard and Warren behind him, and it was like, well, we got to work through this. Pitcher, you're not going to be used this year. Jake, under, over, 35 walks.
I'm going to say over. I think that's the safe bet, unfortunately. I'm still not sure, and not to give my, Skip Bayless first take thing. I still don't know if he breaks camp with the Yankees this year. I just think if you're another team, not like cut. He's still a valuable dude. I'm thinking he could get traded, because he's just so valuable in this world of MLB baseball, where you have to have, 8 power guys coming out of your bullpen. I mean, this guy could be a closer. And we said we won't dive into Pittsburgh rumors, but how many kind of not washed up guys, but washed up guys have gone to Pittsburgh and had an all-star closer season. So I'm not saying he who shall not be named as the Pittsburgh starter. But if you're a team and you look at Dellin Betances as a high risk, medium reward guy who could be the best closer on a team, when he's right, he's incredible. So I just don't know. I haven't even really wrapped my head around Dellin in the Yankees bullpen yet, because right now he's what? If you put Dellin in, if it's the 8th inning and you're down by 3 runs, that's for a guy that's been an all-star the past 4 years. I know you don't even like using him in that spot, because you say we're still in the game. Don't risk it. I don't know, man.
I mean, he should be our 8th inning guy. That should be the plan. It's up to him.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah, Joe, you think he should be the 8th inning guy if he's back to form?
I mean, I think he's kind of got to prove it. He's probably. But because of the way that the season ended last season, but that is the ideal situation. I want him as the 8th inning guy, because then you could do more with Kingley. You can do more with, your other relievers in the pen, where you could really shorten the game. But Betances really has to get it together. Like, seriously, like, I cannot be at a game or watching a game on TV and seeing walk. Like, the game, the epitome of the game that I keep thinking about is that game where he was it was against the Orioles, and then Machado walked off, and it was just like, what happened here?
Yeah.
Like, what's going on? Why did it even get to this situation right now? And it's yes.
He walked like J.J. Hardy to get to Machado or something like that.
Yeah, it was crazy. I don't know. Maybe Joe Girardi also kind of blew that game too, but it was. I just think that maybe, I don't know if it's probably mental. A lot of it, I think, with him is probably mental. He's thinking too much about mechanics also on the, when he's up there on the rubber, because you can't look fit. People are not. It's not like they're hitting him all over the park. It's not like it's rockets all over the park. It's just he's just walking people, and then.
It's exactly what Bryce Harper said during the All-Star game last year when Betances walked Bryce Harper.
Oh yeah, I could just walk up there and just take a walk. It's like
Bryce Harper was mic'd. That was devastating. Like, Bryce Harper mic'd at the All-Star game talking to the first base coach, and you can hear him say, with this guy, you just got to look for your walks, don't even swing. It's like, fuck, Betances, they all know about you. Bad scouting report. All right, next over-under. This one's an interesting one. 200 at-bats for Andujar. I'll lead off again. I'm going under because I think Andujar next year is going to be similar to what Clint did last year, where he gets a good shot, but not the whole time. And last year, Clint had he landed at 134 at-bats in 439 games. So I don't know. Do you think Andujar comes up and wins a spot? It's basically what this question is. 200 at-bats for Andujar. Joe, what do you got?
I'll go under too, because I don't think offense is the problem on the team. But I think that he's I have to see how he looks in spring training defensively, because I think that's the only question with him. Because I think everybody thinks that his bat is major league ready. It's just his defense, and if his defense can keep him up here, then yeah, maybe he could be able to do it. But I don't think that it's offense is a priority. So I'm going under with that one too.
Jakey?
Yeah, the under's the safe bet here. I mean, do you know how many at-bats Clint Frazier had last year?
I just said it. 134.
134? Okay. Sorry, I try not to listen to you. But yeah, I think the Clint Frazier's a good comparison. You're right. It seems like too many guys, right? It's Wade, Torres. We still think there's a veteran of some sort to be named later. So I really like that comparison to Clint. That would be good for him. I mean, as both you guys probably saw on Twitter Mania, I mean, Andujar is one of the best players in the league already after that one day. So
his nickname should be Call Up.
Call Up.
Call Up Andujar. All right, one last question.
What's up, guys? Calling from Orlando, Florida, where it is a freezing 35 degrees here. I don't know if it's possible because you all three live in different places, but it would be awesome, to see a live stream if you guys watching a game together, something. Just your takes on how the game's going, knock back a couple of O'Doul's delicious beers, and just see how things go. That would be fun to watch. Let's go Yanks.
All right, so Orlando, what was his name? But good question. And this kind of just segments into 2018 for you, Joe, and us talking Yanks plans. But stream a game together, that sounds, if we can get the technology down, an away game, so you don't have to miss going to the stadium, I'm down.
Yes.
Go to a game together.
Yes. I mean, I would love that, man. I would love nothing more than to do that. I would wonder how we would do it. I mean, maybe we could do it on here. But if we have, what I'm thinking is, because every year I always plan some sort of trip somewhere to watch an away game. So I was thinking about going, to the West Coast. I don't know, maybe.
Hey, you can come to the Coliseum and see this dump before they tear it down.
Oh, really? Yeah, the Coliseum, right? You got to see all that foul territory. I'm dying to see it.
Oh,
but
so bad.
but yeah, that, and I mean, yeah, we could definitely work that out. Where we just be like, oh, we're gonna watch this game, or we'll do a stream where maybe other people are also interacting with us while they're talking to us, whether it's on Periscope or something like that. That'll be cool. That'll be awesome. I just don't know how we would get everybody on the same screen in Periscope or some other.
We'll figure out. We'll figure it out.
Facebook Live or something like that, or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
You'll figure it out. I think it sounds fun. Talkin Yanks, we have kind of big plans for 2018. I started it as a hobby last year, and we're kind of going to run with it. I got announcements coming later about that, but yeah. So I think we'll look into the tech, try to figure that out. Also, I'm going to be in the East Coast a lot long. Usually, it's only a week. This summer, I'm going to be there for a lot longer. So I'll be going to a couple of Yankee games. So trying to figure out watching games together in person too.
Nice, definitely. Let me know, man. Let me know.
And Jake, you're left out. Sorry, bud.
Yeah, man, you guys are the celebs. I'm Ryan Rocco. Like, if you guys need a body, okay. But
don't knock Rocco.
I'll knock him. I like him.
So, all right, that's about it. You got anything going on, Joe? I know you got the YouTube channel. Everyone go there. JoezMcfLy. I always pronounce it JoezMcfLy, but it's JoezMcfLy.
Yes. I have my YouTube channel, JoezMcfLy. You can always catch me on Twitter too, at JoezMcfLy. I'm gonna be putting out more videos. Just I'm trying to get some better equipment right now because you probably know, it's just equipment is part of it. Like right now, it's like a little rinky-dink situation right now, the way that I have it. But yeah, I'm gonna definitely start pumping out a lot more videos. Hopefully, there's some news to talk about with this team, so that we can be able to do something. But we'll go from there.
All right, and you got the hats too. Those still on sale? You sell out?
Oh yeah. I have these. I have a website. It's called www.pinstripestrong.com, and you can order it from there, or you could just hit me up on Twitter, and I'll see what I could do. I usually, like, people that live in the New York area, I'll deliver it to them, like hand deliver it to them.
That's awesome.
I'll do that.
Cool. All right, we got anything else? That's it. We appreciate you coming on. Thanks for everyone for listening. People watching on YouTube, there's 20 of you coming in and out. Awesome. Also, remember to click the download on the podcast because that helps us out a lot more. Rate, subscribe, review. The reviews are awesome. They help more than you think. If you've been listening for a while and you haven't reviewed yet, today's the day. Just go leave us a review. If this is your first time listening, don't review us yet. It's too early. Let it get a couple episodes and see if you really like us first. Jake, got any parting words?
Not really, man. Thanks for joining us, Joe. I should mention the Talkin Knicks stuff. The season's gotten a little sadder as it goes. That's as is tradition with the Knicks tape. But yeah, I'm Team Yankee News. We what are we, like 50 some days out from spring training, something like that. So I don't know. We need that final, even if it's lame, whether it's Brandon Phillips or a quadruple A arm to throw some in the rotation. Give me something, Cash. Plain circling.
Give me something more exciting than Jace Peterson.
Yes.
Absolutely. Maybe a no trade clause being waived by somebody. Yeah. Maybe. Yeah,
I don't think he will, but I would be nice. All right, that's all for us. Thanks everyone for listening. We'll be back next week. Thank you, Joe, for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Go Yankees. Tell them, Grandma.
Go Yankees.